Is Bitcoin heading back to its highs, and will it ever replace gold as the ultimate commodity? James, welcome to the show. Good to have you in studio.
Daniela, thanks for having me here.
Talking all things today.
Yes. By the way, your voice was an octave higher when you started talking to the camera.
It's the anchor voice, James.
Yes, octave higher increases likability, octave lower increases trustworthiness.
Well, okay, so let me find a medium ground here.
Well, you maybe want to start high and move low when you get into serious issues.
That is a good tip, James. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Now I can go, right? That's all you wanted.
First time you're on here. Let's talk about the rally behind Bitcoin. Everyone wants to know, could we see those highs we once hit?
Sure. I mean, there's a short-term story and a long-term story. The long-term story I've described in a lot of places. August 2017, I described the long story on CNBC, how cryptocurrencies solves, in general, many of the problems of paper currencies and fiat money, which you're familiar with. The fact that there's so many banks and fees, and there's so much potential for human error when the Federal Reserve or the central bank prints more money. There's potential for forgery. There's privacy issues. So cryptocurrency solves a lot of the problems of fiat money, and that long-term story is still intact. So long-term, it's just all cryptocurrencies that are safe and not scams are going to go up. And again, in that prior interview I mentioned, I said 95% of cryptocurrencies were scams. That was in August 2017. About 80% of cryptocurrencies since then have gone to zero. So that's been proven mostly correct. In terms of the short-term rally, there's so many problems right now with Iran, with China, and these tariff wars that are happening. People are and with Brexit issues, so people are getting afraid of the currencies that they own. So there's kind of a flight into other types of currencies like Bitcoin or like gold. So gold had a mini rise, but Bitcoin's gone up quite a bit. It's gone up from like 6,000 to 9,000 during this time, and I think there's more to it. It's a flight to safety, Bitcoin, and also there's a lot of companies now announced they were going to accepting it. So Whole Foods is accepting it. Many companies are accepting it. Salesforce.com just announced they're using blockchain technology.
Well, a lot of people would say that this run-up is thanks to the institutional players coming on board. U.S. online brokerages that are looking to offer Bitcoin in 2019.
Yeah.
So do you agree with that statement? That's
really
the force here?
That's certainly part of it. Like, think about a year ago, the SEC started saying, no, we need to look at this. I thought that was a great sign. Now, Bitcoin collapsed after that, but you want your regulators to kick out all the scams. You want some cleansing of any sort of financial innovation. So now, finally, they're starting to get ready to announce ETFs. Fidelity is going to start having an exchange for it.
Right, and that's where you have said that you actually see regulation as a good thing for Bitcoin. But let's talk about the 27 interview you did.
Sure.
You also mentioned that you wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin could possibly go to $1 million by 2020.
Well, I'll explain the math. So if cryptocurrencies, or let's say Bitcoin, if Bitcoin ends up replacing paper currency, and it solves so many problems of paper currency, it should partially or completely replace paper currency in the long run. How much paper currency is out there? It's about $200 trillion worth of paper currency is in the world. And there's only about $200 billion of cryptocurrency. So that's 100,000% from here. That could give Bitcoin a price of, $8 million. So $1 million is even a discount to where Bitcoin could eventually go. Now, when it actually gets there, who knows? It could be soon, it could be later, it could be, but the general direction has been up.
So you're sticking to that call?
Well, since I've made that call, Bitcoin's up something like 150%. So as long as the direction is good and you're making money, nobody should complain. Will it hit $1 million in 2020? Maybe. Will it be 2021, 2022? Who knows? At some point, some country, their currency is going to collapse. Who knows which country it will be? Argentina, Iran, any country, many countries in South America are potential. Some currency will collapse. the population of that country will say, let's all move to Bitcoin, and then you're going to see mass adoption, in addition to all the things you mentioned. More stores accepting it, Amazon starting to accept it, Fidelity starting to issue it to customers, all the online brokerages issuing it to customers, the SEC approving it.
James, what can you tell us about the volume behind this run-up? And there have been reports that some of the volume we're seeing it is fake. It's not real.
Sure. So I think that was the same thing that was said a year ago. Probably was true a year ago. But look, a lot of the trading in stocks, any kind of trading, some of it is fake or algorithmic, and it's not different from any sort of financial asset. Gold, a lot of the trading is fake. But what's happening now is very real, which is that China, there's more billionaires in China than the entire Forbes billionaire list. There's so many privately known billionaires in China. What are they doing with their yuan, which is in trouble now because of this tariff war? All of these billionaires are concerned, and all the wealthy people of China or Iran or other countries, they're moving their currency into Bitcoin, because then it's easy to move to the United States or other places. It's not trackable, it's private. So I think we're seeing right now a large movement of wealth into crypto. Also, we might be seeing huge mutual fund companies like Fidelity starting to gather Bitcoin in preparation for their online exchanges and products and so on.
Do you feel there's manipulation in Bitcoin?
No, I mean maybe the final run up to 20,000, at the end of 2017, there was some manipulation, but the long-term story is intact. Like 20,000 is a huge discount from where the underlying value of Bitcoin will be in the long term.
You brought up store of value before, and how do you make the case for Bitcoin as a store of value with the volatility that we've seen?
Well, Bitcoin, I'm not sure how volatile it really is versus other things. Like Bitcoin is the highest performing asset of 2019 if you throw in stocks, oil, gold, bonds. Bitcoin is up the most. For a long time, it was kind of steady around 5,000. It dipped to 3,000. Now it's up to 8,000. But for quite a long time, it just stayed between 5,000 and 6,000. Now it seems to be staying between 8,000 and 9,000. It's not that much more volatile than stocks at this point.
Do you think it's a replacement to gold? People love having this debate of, and I know you've debated Jim Rickers
Sure.
on this very topic
Very
of
smart
gold
guy. I like
versus
Jim.
versus Bitcoin. So, why even have the debate? Is it necessary? Like, why pit these two assets against each other?
I think people just do that for fun. But realistically, Bitcoin solves problems. Like Bitcoin lets you have currency transactions that are more private, less prone to human error, less prone to a central bank manipulating it. You could transfer Bitcoin so much more easily overseas, so you could do microtransactions overseas. Tell me one thing you can buy with gold. With Bitcoin, I can buy a donut at the bodega downstairs. With gold, downstairs in this building. With gold, I can't buy anything.
So you've never owned gold before?
I mean, I have a gold $2 bill, actually.
Okay, so
I
you have
gold $2
no
bill.
interest in investing
No.
in gold.
I wrote an article for this very company in 2004 recommending silver. I liked silver better than gold then. But now I don't like any precious metals. Precious metals were invented as a currency because they were rare and hard to find. But that use for metals is over. We don't need that use anymore.
Do you only touch Bitcoin, or do you like any of the other coins out there?
I actually think Bitcoin doesn't solve all of the problems. Bitcoin itself has some problems. It could be faster. It could be more private. It could be less prone to kind of what's called 51% attacks. So I do like many other coins.
What was life like for you before Bitcoin? I mean, when the day that you've heard about Bitcoin or learned about Bitcoin for the first time, was that just like this insane eureka moment for you then?
No. When I first heard about Bitcoin, I thought, this is ridiculous. This is a scam. And then a lot of my friends contacted me. One friend in particular, I spent like a week with, and he went on the whiteboard. He explained everything about Bitcoin. I looked at the code. I'm a software guy by background and a hedge fund manager, so I was able to understand it from both angles. And then in 2013, I set up a Bitcoin-only store to sell my book, Choose Yourself, before I released it on Amazon. So by then I was a believer by May 2013. But I think it's much more important to focus on self-improvement,
Right.
happiness, getting good at skills and learning. You know, Bitcoin's important, and I started to see many of my readers playing around with what I thought were scam coins. So that's when I decided, okay, I'll write about this and do much more research and hire people and really say, no, here's the set. Out of the 1,000 coins out there, here are the 12 that I like the best.
Well, what are some signs, on the topic of scam coins? Like, what do you look for? Do you just avoid not the brand name coins out there?
No, I look for what are the biggest use cases. So like when you look at a company, you say, what's the size of the market? And you do background checks on the CEOs and the management team. And you look for other smart people investing alongside. So I look for the exact same, and for cryptocurrencies, I read the code. So I make sure, there's no backdoor way that the founders can steal coins or attack, the coin. But like, let's just take a coin like Zcash as an example. This solves some of the privacy issues that Bitcoin doesn't solve. So Bitcoin could be good as a store of value and even for transactions, but if you really want extra privacy, a coin like Zcash or even Monero is good.
So would you touch a coin backed by gold? Or is just gold always
No. I think stable coins are potential out there. There's none. I do think that in general, the volatility of Bitcoin, like any asset class, like internet stocks in the 90s compared with now, the volatility will go down over time as Bitcoin sort of finds its price and its value. And I don't know if we'll need stable coins, but a lot of people talk about coins backed by the dollar, coins backed by gold. That's interesting. None of them have fully succeeded, so I don't know, and I don't recommend any of them at this point.
James, when I was researching everything you've done, I mean, you've done it all, like entrepreneur, author, you were in a movie, you're a podcaster. So, what's next for you? What's in store for you?
Well, I'm working on a TV show, actually. So can I tell you about it?
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid to share the idea.
Okay.
The whole point of having ideas is that they're abundant. You shouldn't ever feel like, oh no, it's my idea. So the idea is, and I'm working with a major network on developing it right now, is it's called I Will Make You a Millionaire. I take 6 random people from all over the country with no background or experience, and I give them highly personalized strategies, and within 6 months, I make them millionaires. And the reason I'm doing this, I've done this many times in the past, both with other people and with myself, because I've gone broke many times and I've had to rebuild. And I figured, okay, I'm going to try this out as a TV show.
Auditions are open right now.
Almost,
I'll sign up for that, James.
I'll
be your.
Well, the good idea is that the audience viewer can watch the strategies and decide for themselves if they could do it for themselves.
Very cool. James, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks
Come
for
by
having me on,
anytime.
Danielle.
Thank you so much.
Invite me back anytime.
Gold and cryptos coexist.